we're going to mobilise our feet. Now you've got some different options if you have balls available to you. You could use something like a lacrosse ball. It's very firm, can sometimes, for people that have got really sensitive feet, sometimes this can be a wee bit challenging to start with. This is what you have available to you, just start off lightly. Other option would be a tennis ball. For some people, tennis ball is going to be too soft if you need a bit more pressure on your feet, because they can collapse a little bit easier just depending on the quality of your tennis ball. And then you also have a golf ball. Again, some people can find this a little bit too intense for their feet because it's much smaller than the other balls. It is a bit more beneficial because it's going to get in between all the bones and the structure a lot better and a lot more effectively. But we're going to start off today. I'm going to use my lacrosse ball because this is my favourite one just now. And you start off vigorously up and down the sole of the foot. So all the way across from side to side. Go up round the heel, around the toes, up and down the length, and also from side to side. So check in. I'm just going to turn my foot round. So this inside arch, sometimes you want to come onto the side of your foot a little bit to put some more pressure on. Now the pressure shouldn't be so much that it's catching your breath at any time. It should just be enough that you go, oh yeah, that feels good. So if your feet are really sensitive, you will be a bit lighter with the pressure. If your feet are less sensitive, then you can go a bit heavier. So once you have gone up and down a few times, any points that feel a little bit tight, I want you to go back to them, add a bit more pressure, take a couple of big deep breaths in and out, and it might be that you stop on it. Big deep breath in, slow breath out, just the same as if you went for a deep tissue massage. The massage therapist would encourage you to take big deep breaths in and out. If you can't get those big deep breaths, then you're applying too much pressure. And that's the same if you go for a massage. If you can't breathe while they're applying pressure, they're applying too much and you need to ask them to back off a little bit. So once you have gone up and down your feet a few times, you're then going to bring the ball to around the middle area at the base of the toes. So we're on this nice cushioned part of the sole of your foot. And you're just going to lean into it and then see if you can step the other foot forwards. So this is giving us a nice stretch into the back of the leg. So like anything, if this feels too intense, this front foot, you step it back a little bit. And it might be that having your foot back here is enough, just depending on how tight your calf is. You know, if your calf is super tight, just doing this and standing back from it is going to be plenty. So listen to your body. Big deep breaths in and out. And then once you've held that for about between 20 and 30 seconds, just pop the ball to the side, and before you start working on the other foot, just notice how that foot feels, the one that you've just worked on. It should feel, it might feel a little bit more alive, a little bit more awake, maybe even a little bit lighter, and like the arches have maybe stimulated a little bit. So once you've done one foot, we always obviously go over, do the same thing on the other sides. So again, vigorously. Now when you come to the other side, the sensitivity might be completely different, meaning you might go a little bit softer or you might need to go a little bit firmer. Your body's always sending signals, and it's up to us to pay attention to those signals because our body is much more intelligent than our brain. It's up to our brain to not ignore what is being said. Again, you're just looking for any points that feel a little bit tight. Remember the heel. Don't forget that heel. And up the arch. And again, if there's any points that felt a little bit tight, just stop on them. A few big deep breaths in and out. And then taking the ball to the middle of that lot of pads that are at the base of the toes. Let the heel rest down, and then see on this side where this other foot wants to go to. Maybe it wants to stay further back, maybe it wants to drop further forward, and this might be totally different on this side as well. It will totally depend on how the calf is feeling. And then once you've taken a few deep breaths in and out there, again holding for about 20 to 30 seconds, you can pop that to the side. Now a good time to do this is when you are brushing your teeth. Have a bowl in the bathroom and do that while you're brushing your teeth, so that you're not having to add anything extra into your day. So I'm just going to move this camera back a little bit. So next thing we're going to do is move into mobilising the feet with our hands. So we've just given basic massage with the ball. If you don't have access to ball for any reason, then you can use your hands. And basically you would just do the same thing to the soles of the feet that you did with the ball. I like to use my knuckles up and down the length so that I'm not putting too much pressure in the thumb joints. But then using thumb and index finger to just pad about, and you can spend a bit of time doing that if you don't have a ball to put the mobilisation in. Once you've done that, the next thing we're going to do is start to wring the feet out. So thinking about the way you would with a towel. So I like to bring one hand to the bottom arch of the foot, thumb and fingers around the top, and then over the top arch, thumb and fingers round, and then just giving it a little wring out from side to side. So this top hand is really just holding the foot in place, while the bottom hand is doing the wringing action. Your feet are really strong. They carry your body weight, whatever that is, around all day. So don't be too gentle with them. And then I like to take my hands to either side and then give them a little bit of a shake out. Lots of bones that are all little individual bones in the sole of the foot. They are all meant to move. So as you're doing this, just go round some circles in the ankle as well. Change direction after a few circles. The ankle, you may be a wee bit more gentle than you would be with the foot. Heel bone, your heel bone should slightly move. So I like to bring thumb and index finger to either side, holding the rest of the foot with the other hand, and then just try and give it a little bit of a twist from side to side. That heel, see if I can get into a better position for you. It doesn't move a lot, but it should move a wee bit. Try and let the rest of the foot be as relaxed as possible as you do this. If you're pressing the rest of the foot into the floor, it might create tension there. And just try and get that moving around a little bit. If you're really tight in the Achilles, so up here, then that might make it more difficult to get some movement in around there. Right, next thing that we're going to do is get our fingers in between the toes. So pinky between the little toe and the next toe, and then each toe in. If your feet are really tight, this might feel a bit uncomfortable to start with, but the more you do it, the more you practice it, the more it will start to free things up. So once you've got that in there, a gentle pull across the top of the foot and back, across the top of the foot and back. And then you could even do a little bit of wringing here as well. Trying to just ease things out so our feet can get really cramped, being in socks and shoes all the time. And if you are getting to spend quite a bit of time indoors, or it's the warmer months, then maybe try and get bare feet as much as possible. Even in the winter months, it can be good to get bare feet, because that's when we tend to get thicker soled shoes on. So any attention you can give your feet, they are going to be entirely grateful. So as I'm doing this, I'm almost trying to pull the toes up and out just a little bit. A lot of people get tight across this top part of the foot, and it's not somewhere we give enough attention to. So once we've done a bit of that, we're then going to give attention to the top of the foot. So between the toes, work your way up. So just using your finger, you can use your thumbs, whatever works. If you get any wee clicky bits, maybe bring your other hand and your other fingers underneath and just gently work that, because you can use the fingers underneath to help push the bones in the middle of the foot up, and that can sometimes just help give us a bit more release. So obviously we do this to both feet. And this is the kind of thing that you could be sitting doing if you're watching the TV, or if you're doing an online course and you're sitting just watching a video or something like that. You don't need to set aside extra time just for this. Any points that feel particularly tight, just go back to them. And then gentle pull on the end of each toe. And then you do the same thing to the other side. So the next thing that we're going to do is a little bit of toe yoga. I heard somebody call it toga the other day. So we have that. So you'll obviously have done both feet before we go on to doing toe yoga. For toe yoga, lift the toes up, spread them out as wide as you can, so trying to get the big toe and the little toe as far away from each other as possible. And I like to, when you bring the big toe down, splay out the toes and then hold it there for a moment. And then let it relax, and then do that again, big toe down, little toe down, splay them out. And let them relax, so that I find this can be really useful for people that have got fallen arches, to help stimulate these arches. Bring it down. So then we're going to come up and do big toe down and up. Now, if this isn't working for you, try one foot at a time. If that doesn't work, keep one foot down, roll to the outside edge and really consciously push that down. And it might be you need to get your thumb involved to start with, just so that you can send the signals from your brain to your feet and say, this is the connection we want to make. And then once you've made it, the pathway is then created. Then we're going to go to the pinky toe on the outside. So little pinky toe coming down and up. And again, this doesn't work, you try one foot by itself. If that doesn't work, go to the outside edge, create that connection, or use your finger. It's okay to do these things just to try and get the pathways created. So then once you've got that, we're going to alternate big toe down and up, little toe down and up, big toe down and up, little toe. When you start to get good at doing big toe and little toe, do big toe on one foot, little toe on the other. Every new movement that you learn, every alternative way to do things, helps build the brain-body connection. Right, next time we're going to do toes are all up. We're going to go big toe and little toe down and keep the three toes in the middle up. Now again, if this isn't working for you, or you're looking at your feet thinking, hell, nothing's happening, and you're just here going, why is nothing working? Or you're up here and all you keep doing is this, you can use 3 fingers holding the 3 middle toes up, use your pinky and your big toe to bring them down. You can also try bringing the toes up and go little toe and then big toe. Or you can start with your feet connected to the floor, pressing the big toe and the little toe down and pulling the 3 toes in the middle up. So there's lots of different ways to get into that. If your feet start to cramp, it could just be that the muscles aren't quite strong enough and they need this work. So bring it down, just rock your weight from side to side, so you're getting some movement into the ankle here, and then going round in circles. After a few circles, change direction. This is good for your knees as well. And then let that settle. Roll right out to the outside edges of the feet. And then roll to the inside edges. And then one side is going to the inside edge, one side to the outside edge. And then across to the other sides. Bringing that down. From there, we are going to come into a little bit of balance work. Again, this is really good to practice while you're brushing your teeth, because you have a sink in front of you, so the sink can just give you that little bit of support where you need it. From here, we're going to come up onto the toes so that we've got a nice high heel, and then slowly lower that down. So I'm just going to show you this from side on. We want our toes spread out a little bit. Bringing ourselves up, holding for a moment. At the top, make sure that the whole of the midfoot is in contact with the floor, so we're not rolling out or rolling in. And slowly bring that back down. So at the top, we want this nice position here. If you don't have the flexibility in the feet to be able to get up here, then start just lifting one heel and then pressing it down, and then lifting the other heel to start to create that shape in the foot. Once you've started to create the shape, then maybe you hold on to something as you start to lift yourself up, and it can be a wall, it can be a door handle, you can have a broom handle in front of you, anything at all, just to help give you some stability as you start to build strength. Once you've started to build strength, then you can start to move on to balance. And then after that, you can come on to single leg and then try and do this on single leg. And it takes a little bit of practice. And again, use a door if you need to. You might have the strength in one foot, but not on the other. And some days you'll be better at it than you are than others. Today, clearly, my balance isn't that great on the single foot, which is fine. The pressure of recording can sometimes knock you off, or if you try, when I'm trying to see the camera instead of focus in. And bringing that focus into your movement is going to be really, really beneficial. If you're looking about or thinking about other things as you try and do this, makes your balance less effective. So bring your attention into what it is that you're doing. So that's all for today. Try out those mobilisations, rolling out the foot, getting your fingers in between, getting your hands involved, stretching them out, and then doing a bit of balance. And see how your strength starts to improve in your feet. When we can get good, strong, solid foundations that are really efficient, it then helps things further up the body be a little bit more effective and a little bit more efficient. And you should find that your overall balance starts to improve as well.